Betsy's face always like kills me all the time.
It's always the same. I've been editing today, and it's always like,
Uh, oh, crazy. Welcome, guys, to Kels and Betsy YouTube channel where we talk about raising capital, investing with purpose. And today's going to be a great episode. We have we're gonna hear from the viewpoint of an actual private money lender, what he looks for, his inside deals that he's done. It's gonna be exciting.
yeah, I know that. I feel like it's something that a lot of people don't talk about, don't bring up. They'll say, "Oh, my lender this, my lender that," but they won't actually show you like, "This is my lender. This is the person that we work with a lot. This is our friend."
A lot of lenders, they don't want to put themselves out there because then you have persons gonna be pounding them down. But it's always good to kind of like hear what, like have someone on the show, hear what they're looking for. So we're literally gonna dive into all of that.
And he even has his own website and everything, so he's out there.
I didn't even know that. See, I'm gonna be guys. We have a story to tell you guys about this. Yes, but before we even dive in, let us go to our disclaimer.
Yes, the following is for educational purposes only. Please do your own diligence. We do not provide financial, legal, or professional advice. Everything that we talk about is from our own experience. Even that all our guests are here. All our guests talk about from their own experience. Everything's case by case. It might work for your situation. It might not work to ask a professional, please. Always CPAs, attorneys. If you need them, let us know.
Yep. So even the guest that we're bringing on, he just sharing his opinion, and we're gonna share the story of how we all met, which is insane. If we have a little secret, but we're
I
just
just want to ask. I have questions.
our guest to the main screen. Welcome, Kenneth Martey. Welcome to our YouTube
What's up?
channel. Oh,
Hey
what's
guys,
up?
thanks for
Our
having me.
friend, you guys, this is the first time we actually see Kenneth's face.
Yes. And we've been communicating for months now.
Yeah,
Never. They always say, what is it? The man, the myth, the legend. Famous Kenneth.
so a little bit about myself. I was born in Ghana, came to the States in 2000. I'm
Yeah.
currently working as a pharmacist in the Air Force. So I've been doing real estate investing for about 8 months now. I bought my first property in San Antonio, and then in October of 22, and then in December of 22, I bought another one in Florida. So pretty short track record as far as like being in real estate, but so far the journey's been fun. Looking forward to what the future holds.
So that's still good. But you said like for I think as you went out a little bit, what's your occupation?
I'm a pharmacist.
Okay. So Kenneth is a pharmacist doing it full time, and he's also an investor slash private money lender. Is there anything else that we need to add to the slash?
Uh, Slash mogul. Put it
So,
on there.
slash the man, the myth, the legend. But it is insane because we talk. I mean, we met you. Well, Betsy met you first.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, you reached out to me, I think.
See?
Yeah. So
How
crazy
did
thing.
that
So
happen? I wanna know. Like, what did you
so
see with
we're both in step two. So on the Discord channel, I was just going through like the private money lending little section that we have. So I was just going through it and I was looking at like what people were posting, and then I saw that she had a request out for a PML. And luckily at that time I had funds that I was ready to deploy. So I reached out to her to see what like deal she had out there. And the rest is history.
I like how he said the rest is history.
Yeah, because okay, I think Kenneth is one of those people that I was just when I was first starting to raise capital,
Mhm.
and I didn't really have any deals yet until we got together with Galicia. Then we were like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, you can say it's coincidence, but it's probably something else, something
It all aligned.
in the making. Yeah.
No, that's like
Divine intervention.
wow.
Yeah. But I mean, that's smart because you reached out like to try to find funding without having a deal, right? Because that's always the challenge, right? supposed to having a deal and then trying to look for funding, that's always an issue. So like doing it the
Yeah.
reverse is pretty smart.
But what made you even like decide to go into real estate and yet alone like becoming a private money lender? What triggered that?
So I've always been taught like, the stock market is the best way to build wealth. Um, so with like the current economic situation, that when COVID hit, I think it's when like I had like a light bulb flip in my head. So I
Mhm.
lost like maybe like 60, 80K in the stock market. So I started pulling money out slowly to try and kind of like park it somewhere else until I find a better vehicle for it. Um, so I mean that's kind of what got me started on my journey. And then I reached out to one of my friends. He's also a pharmacist, and I know he had a investment property in Florida. So I reached out to him. I was like, "Hey, like, what's the best resource to like get into real estate?" And he said, "Bigger Pockets." And then I just hopped on it, listened to Bigger Pockets OG podcast, and then the Rookie podcast, and then just started consuming content as well as real estate. And then I just pulled the trigger in October to buy my first property in San Antonio.
But my thing is like losing 68, 70K.
Mhm.
Like go back to that story because for a lot of people, if they lose that money in the stock market, they're not even thinking, okay, let me go and start investing somewhere else. For a lot of people, the mindset is, I'm done with this.
Right.
I need to take a break. Like, tell me about like your thought process during that time. Like, you literally just went straight into, I need to pull my money out and I need to keep reinvesting. Like, tell me about that portion.
So I think it's mainly like a mindset thing, right? So um, I think like one thing about me is like my mindset is pretty fortified, so it really didn't phase me because I knew like at the back end of it, like I could write off those losses over time. Just because like even with like capital gains, like you can write off your losses. I think it's like $3,000 per tax annual year. So I
Mhm.
know I'm going to make that money back down the road, but in the meantime, where else can I put my money to kind of recoup the money that I've lost
Yeah,
in the meantime? So it's just a mindset thing.
man.
Did you always want to put somewhere where your money somewhere where it could grow? You weren't like, I'm just gonna put it in the savings.
That was always my plan, which is why I got into the stock market, just because I knew people over time can grow wealth. Obviously, if you choose the right stocks, especially like ETFs, you just buy it and just forget about it, and probably in 20 years you make more than you put in. So I always knew that was the goal. I knew putting my money in a bank account so they can give me 10 cents every month wasn't gonna do it. So
So you knew that, okay, I wanna put my money, I just wanna invest it and leave it.
yeah,
The true definition of passive income. A lot of people don't
yeah.
even they,
Yeah.
they don't even
And
think about
it's ironic because I was always like against real estate just because I'm like because I was ignorant to it. I didn't understand the benefit that it had. I just knew more so like the risk associated with it. Like you have to make a lot of maintenance to the house. Obviously, it depends on what kind of house you buy, right? But there was more negative to it that I heard from other people than like actually educating myself about what the benefits are. And it has risk, but the benefits outweigh the risk, in my opinion.
that makes sense. Just a little side note, but I think your volume keeps going a little bit down.
All right, let's second fix my headphones.
You're good. So like some like it's go and I know you're like sharing a lot of like info. So I was like, I don't want our viewers or listeners to like miss out because they're this is like
Yeah, let me know if it becomes an issue. I'll probably switch to something different.
no, this is good.
Yeah, it's still happening.
It's
Awesome.
wait, keep talking. Let's keep talking and see what happens.
Okay, I'll
So
just
I
try to talk
wanted
louder.
okay. I wanted to ask you what factors and criteria do you consider when you're selecting an investment opportunity?
So the one thing I look at is the term or how the duration of time that my money is going to be in the deal.
Mhm.
So the first two deals I did, so yours was the second. The first one I did was for 12 months. So I look at the duration and then I look at the potential return for it. And also I look at like the area that my money is going to. So duration, and then the return, and then the area.
and everything.
There's like the three criteria that I look at.
How do you, I think this might be a two-part question, but like the first one is like, how did you like know what your goal, not even your goal, but to come up with an investment criteria? Like, we know, like you look on the loan terms and everything, but how did you decide like, okay, I don't want to do anything beyond a year, or I only want to do things for 3 months? And then the part two question is, a lot of persons now, they want a high return and they need their money like 3 months. But I know for you as well, you are always open to doing longer term loans. Like what's your reasoning behind that?
So I guess it came from like me being able to like analyze like the stock market. So using that kind of approach and then relating it to real estate. So obviously higher risk, higher rewards, right? So being comfortable with the risk is obviously the first thing, right? So being able to be comfortable with how long you can be able, you can part with your money, and then being able to get that return back. So obviously, trying to switch my approach a little bit to more of a shorter duration lending, just because I want to be able to turn out my money a lot quicker. Because I know the faster I get it back, the faster I can put it into a different deal, and I keep flipping it.
Okay. And then how did you determine like, okay, I want to do this amount of loan? Well, you actually just answered that, so you're pretty good. But that's fine as well, because we find that a lot of persons they want to get into lending, but they just don't know what to what criteria to come up with. They're just going with the flow of what everyone is doing or saying,
Or what they're telling them.
what they're telling them. Like, did you have, I know you mentioned that you listen to Bigger Pockets and podcasts and all that different things, but did you have someone in your circle or like a team to help guide you, or someone who lent money before to determine this?
No, not really. No. So I mean, being this up to that also helped just because of like the content that's out there. It kind of exposes you to like what different people are doing, especially with the videos that Pace puts out. Being
Yeah,
able to educate yourself first about the right things to do with private money lending. Like obviously, you don't send the money straight to the person's bank account, right? Like that's
yeah.
the first rule. So being able to understand like the rules behind private money, like the stages and approaches, and educating yourself, and then after educating yourself, being able to know what you're comfortable with, as far as
Mhm.
like how long you can go without your money, and then what you want your money to come back to you with.
That makes sense. The your first deal, the first deal that you've ever lent on.
Mhm.
Let's do a little breakdown on that. Um,
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about the deal, and then we'll ask the following questions after that.
Okay. So that one also I found in the Discord channel. So it was a sub two student.
Mhm.
It was she was looking for a lend-in for 35K for a property in Arkansas. Arkansas. The spelling always gets me. So
Potato.
it's supposed to be. It's gonna be. It was for a short-term rental. They were doing a fixer-upper, and then they were flipping it to rent out.
Mhm.
So that one was for a 12-month term for 10% back. So I knew I was okay with getting a 10% return in 12 months. And
You said 12 months or 4 months?
12 months,
Okay.
yeah. So I knew I was comfortable with that. And also like the way they outlined the deal and the pictures that it showed me, it looked pretty promising.
Mhm.
So actually they paid me like 5 months earlier than I was expecting, which allowed me to put my money into a different deal.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
How did you get, so did you, with this sub two student, did you ever have a conversation with them before? Like, how did you like decide like, yeah, the deal looks good, but I want to go with that person? What made you decide that?
So honestly, it's just about taking chances. I know like usually like in the W-2 world, if you're applying for a job, it requires you to have like X amount of experiences, right? And you're like, how can I break in if I don't have the experience?
Yeah.
So like speaking to that person, I was able to understand like, hey, they've done this before. It's not the first time they've done it before. It's not the first time they've done something like this, so they have that experience. But even so, if they didn't, it's like it's kind of obviously it's riskier, right? You could be like, okay, I'll give you the 12%. I mean, the 12-month that you need, but I want a higher, interest rate just because you want to mitigate your risk versus your rewards. So that's another approach you can use is you can negotiate. But based on what they told me, I was comfortable with their experience and them knowing exactly what they're doing.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're comfortable with, man, the only thing I could like picked up right now, like one, you're a risk taker. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, how do you manage risk? How do you assess and manage risk?
It's just based on experience. I mean, I guess like
Of the investor?
both. So as well, my experience as far as like my knowledge base, as well as like that of the investor. So putting the two together helps you manage risk as far as understanding like what their experience is, and then based on their experience, what data can you pull from that, and what data do you have as far as like your knowledge base. They can put it together to make an informed decision. Because data really drives a lot of the decisions I make. It's not just so oh, I have a good feeling about you, so let's just
Let's
roll
go.
the dice.
Where do you get? I'm not like, I'm being like the completely newbie right now. Where are you getting your data from? Did you know how to underwrite deals before this first project?
That's a good question. Not, I won't say I knew how to like 100% underwrite deals, but I knew enough to make an informed decision. And as far as like getting the data, it's just like it's a lot on the internet, obviously, right? But right
Yeah.
now, I'm using AI to drive most of the data that I obtain, so that helps out a lot. As well, that it really comes down to like the underwriting and then the learning curve of trying to obtain those data to make those decisions. So that helps out a lot.
Well, you just went up just now.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
I mentioned AI and updating the data.
So I use a lot of like AI tools to get more of the data that I normally would have to like search on Google.
Yeah.
So the one that I use is called Perplexity.ai. So that one has access to the internet. So based on what prompt I use, it provides me like references to like where it's pulling that data from, and I can go straight to the data and then double check behind the AI to make sure it's
Wait,
running
so because I'm taking notes. This is perplexityai.com.
Perplexity.ai.
Dot. Oh, honey, I'm gonna check this out. We're using it AI right now to write a pitch deck. This is wrong, but for one of our
Oh, that's
fund that
dope.
we're
Yeah, we
doing.
actually had a conversation, Kenneth and I, about using an AI for our leads, and I haven't talked to you about it yet, Kalisha, but it's awesome.
It's the things that I think that we should even, that should be a topic that we should talk about. Things that you can generate real estate like content, raising capital, newsletters with AI. It's insane. That's a whole different
Yeah,
conversation.
it's crazy how fast it's growing. It's absurd.
Yeah, I heard Justin actually said that most of the companies that don't integrate AI into their companies, they're not going to move forward. It's just not going to. And then you're also going to need a person to handle all the AI tools. So that'll be
Yeah,
a new job, you guys. Looking for a
it's like
W-2.
Buster versus Netflix.
Yeah. Like, fuck. A lot of persons don't even want to keep up. Some persons hate it. But
Yeah,
us,
Every
yeah.
new thing is hated, though. I mean, it's kind of like something that happens always. Everybody's like, I hate it. And then everybody uses it. It becomes a norm.
Get with the program. Now, so going back to your first deal, like what documents did you have? Like what was your safety net to make sure that your investment was protected, it was secured, and it was insured? And did you provide those paperwork? Because I know some lenders like providing it, and then you have some where the investors provide those paperwork.
yeah. So I drafted up my own PML document, so a promissory note, and then I put in the terms that I wanted, that I knew I was comfortable with, like making sure that binds us. And then there was a mortgage that was also placed on the house as a way for like a secondary protection, just because the PML is not really, it's a contract, but it's not really binding, so you need something on top of that. You can do a mortgage or you can do a deed in trust. So the state in Arkansas was for a mortgage as opposed to a deed
Or
in trust.
mortgage. Did you hear him, Betsy?
No.
Oh man, sorry. So
You mentioned the promissory note. Talk about the
yeah,
deed.
so I drafted up a promissory note with the terms that I was comfortable with.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, when we opened up escrow, they had the escrow company draft up a mortgage.
Mhm.
Uh, so that way I was also protected in that regard. Just because the PML is not really as binding as having a mortgage on the property.
Yeah. And then when
So
you
those
got
are
the,
the two documents that I had.
so you had two set of documents. What was the
Mhm.
next step after you got the documents?
So the next steps were making sure the escrow company that I was a little paranoid. Obviously, it's my first deal. So making sure the escrow company was like a legit company. So I Googled them. It was like a franchise company. So I Googled them, make sure the person that was communicating with me from the escrow company was actually on like the company's directory.
Yeah.
So I made sure that that was legit. It's not like some fake escrow company trying to provide me with the sense of comfort that hey, this is legit because we're an escrow company. So
And
always
that's
try
a
to do your
pro tip.
research. Yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
Like we try to tell people that all the time. New experience, we don't care. Like now it becomes a habit. So I,
Yeah, it's one of the things that we go over. Like, hey, call the escrow company, make sure it is
Mhm.
that everything's good.
Like legit.
yeah.
And
I mean, not even call them; you have to Google them because they can provide you a number where they have a scammer on the other side. Like, yeah, this is the escrow company. This is our
so you
information.
gotta
This
like
is
double check.
yeah.
So you got your paperwork, you verified the wire instructions, and I'm assuming then you wire the funds. After you wire the funds, what was the next step?
So
Or
after I
what?
wired the funds, trying to think what was the so we stayed in communication, just basically like, hey, we received the funds. We'll keep you up to date if anything changes as far as like if we can pay you sooner or what have you, right? So I also had in the PML like if you pay outside of the agreed upon terms, you get assessed an X amount percentage on top of a late fee. So that was like an incentive to make sure like they stay within the terms of our
That
agreement.
was good.
So yeah, just also like communication, but not like constant communication where you're texting or checking up on the property every
So
day or every week.
that borough was constantly updating you about the project.
No, I'm saying basically after the funds were deposited, they
Yeah.
basically verified that hey, we received the funds. We'll go ahead and use it as we discussed, and essentially that was it. So usually in a situation like this, you don't want to like keep texting or keep following up to see a like is my money safe? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that kind of gets annoying because you have to you have paperwork that protects you, so you have to trust in the process that the paperwork is going to protect me if something happens where they're not able to pay. You at least have a lien on the property where they can sell it.
And then, so you said that you got, so this project, it was 12 months.
Are
Yeah.
you on second position on this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's good.
And you had a lien. That's what we were talking about the mortgage. You had that lien on the
Yes.
property.
The second
Uh huh.
lien. Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. When it was time for you to be repaid for that loan, walk us through that process for you to get your money back.
So in order to, so first I had to release the I had to, in order for everything to be like good and well, I had to return the original signed document of the PML, and then I had to sign and I don't think I had to get it notarized, but I had to sign a discharge of mortgage
Yeah.
disclosure. So first, they deposited the funds. They sent me a check actually, and then I deposited the funds. And then once the funds cleared, then I went ahead and sent over the documents.
So what Kenneth is talking about, so normally for a private money lender, when it's time for you to be repaid, I think that you will do a lien release form and you will do a payoff statement. Those are the two that we normally do. The lien release form, you can do it yourself. Your attorney can do it. You can ask a title company to do it, but you need to ensure that it is recorded because a lot of persons don't do that. They just have something signed. But especially if the deed, the second lien position was recorded, you got to make sure that when you do the lien release as well, that is also recorded because it will show that the property still has a second lien on it if it's not recorded that's something a lot of persons forget. They think the lender just signs and that's it.
Right.
Like that needs to be like fully recorded and taken off the property. So guys,
Yes, and that's mainly up to the person that was lending the money or the lendee to make sure that the escrow company did their job and
yeah,
got that onto the accounting clerk.
because that's not your job. You got your
Right.
job is you get
I
your money
got my money. Yeah.
and you sign the lien release. So that's your job.
Yeah.
Everything else after that,
My part is on. My part is done. Yeah.
on to the next one. Next deal.
Yep.
Hello.
And that's
No,
when you came calling.
right? Listen,
Yeah.
it's the beginning.
Yeah.
What I really, and I'm saying, I think, I don't know if I've said it before, is that love the fact that you're flexible and
Hmm.
your definition of looking at a deal by deal basis, you know what your long-term goal is. And for you is, it's two things. It is either my quick return, but at the end of the day, I still need equity. I need to own properties. I need to benefit from the cash flow. And you're not that type of lender where it's like, it has to be this strategy only, and it has to be this long term only.
Right.
No, because then I think a lot of lenders who do that, they're stifling their themselves. They're stifling, like limiting themselves to opportunities that will pop up. So I appreciate that and respect that with what you're doing. That's like the true definition of being like one of rather a real lender. You're like, I have a goal. Let's get this done. And
Yeah.
background too. So that's pretty good. And having a full-time W-2 job.
And
Yeah.
trying
I
to
mean.
acquire multifamily properties.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that. He's like trying to, you're doing a lot. So kudos, pat yourself on the shoulder.
Yes, kudos.
That's, no, you are doing a lot. Like, I know this is coming close to an end, but what advice would you give to someone who's completely new and looking to lend? It could be someone who's new to real estate on a whole and have funds and get in. It could be someone who have experience with real estate but not on the private money lending side.
So I would say like references would be a good start. I didn't do that when I first started, but it would be a good start as far as like asking the person, hey, like how many deals have you done, or how many private money lenders have you used? You might probably reach out to them, kind of like vet them that way if that provides you comfort.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a good start, but obviously it starts with like your knowledge base, like knowing like what to do, what not to do. Again, like you never want to send money directly to the person, so that's like number one rule. So knowing what to do, what not to do, and then obviously like vetting that person, listening to references that they've done deals before or they've used private money lenders before, and then reach out to those private money lenders, ask them like, hey, how was this person to work with? Just do due diligence.
Do your due diligence. So guys,
Yeah.
so just to repeat what Kenneth said, guys, and he said something about do your own due diligence. That does not mean you need to learn every single step of how to underwrite the deal. If you don't know, ask someone for experience so you can get a second opinion. That's it. And
Use AI.
yeah, use AI. And really vet the persons. If they're completely new and the deal looks good, ask them like, have you guys done a deal before? Have you used private money before? If they have, hey, can you give referrals? We've had lenders who ask us for that. And we're always happy to share lenders that we've worked with so they can give their experience with working with us as well. So ask as many questions as you can to make you guys feel comfortable. Is there like any, and you can knock on wood for this if there's nothing, but any challenges that you face or obstacles since you got into the private money lending space, and how did you overcome those obstacles?
So far, I've only done 3 deals total so far. So I'm trying to expand on more so of my transactional lending. So far I've not really had any issues, but I feel like doing transactional lending potentially didn't be an issue.
Yeah.
But so far, no issues that I can That's
Is there any
yeah.
is there any red flags that you've seen that you're like avoid?
Yeah, so someone sent me a request to do a PML on the deal that was closing like in 2 days. I was like, nah. So because I don't have time, I didn't have the adequate time to like do my part of like my due diligence. So like that's a no-no. Like if anybody's trying to ask for like a PML and you have a deal, like you should send that ahead of time, not a couple days before the deal closes. No.
See, and look, and the thing is too, you know what you're comfortable with. That's your
Yeah.
criteria. You need more than 2 days. So you're not, it can look so good. You're not even gonna think about it because you know within yourself, you need time to do your own due diligence. Whereas you have some lenders who are, they'll be like, hey, you need this in 2 days. I'm gonna increase my rate, or I need this, or I need that. But that's their criteria. So
Right.
again, knowing what you guys are comfortable with is pretty, they just need to get clear of that. And that's my
And
biggest.
also the exit strategy of like the end buyer, like if they're gonna flip it, if they're gonna do like a lease option, if they're gonna wrap it, like you have to like understand those strategies as well in order to make like an informed decision.
No, like definitely. But what in your business do you need help with? Like, what would you love right now? If you can get anything, deal, money, what would that be?
More money.
More problems to cover
Yeah,
it.
I'm working on establishing like a database, reaching out to like more private lenders. So I'm gonna start reaching out to self-directed IRA companies, and then see if they have like days that they allow someone to present. Then
Mhm.
I'll go in and present about like what a good real estate deal looks like. Just like give it out there, not like solicit as far as like, hey, I want you to invest in my deal, but like let them know you can invest in real estate with your self-directed IRA, and this is what you should look for in a good deal. So that's going to be my next approach.
No, man. This was good.
Yeah,
See, for your first time, you did good. You should do this
yeah, yeah, yeah,
more often. Because this was
yeah.
pretty good.
Well, I have one last question, but it's kind of personal. do do we help? Is it helpful that we give you all the information and we get you like if you have any questions, we're like super open with everything. Does it help?
Yeah, communication is definitely key because you need to rely on being able to get a hold of the person, right? So communication is definitely key. Over communicating is not a bad thing. It's always a good thing. Like always over communicate if possible. So that's major.
Yeah. No,
Just
man.
coming back to those relationships, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Let the lender be like, hey, you're annoying. Let the lender, yeah. The lender should be like, you're annoying. Can you just stop?
yeah. Like if you can't, hang out with that person or grab a beer with them, like you probably don't want to do business with
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Right.
definitely reach out to Kenneth whenever I have questions. So
them.
He will be like, sorry for texting you so late. And I'm like, Kenneth, I'm up working.
Yeah,
Either
I mean
way.
it's all relationships, so that's also major.
No, but no, this was like, we're so happy to have you.
yes.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Sharing your experience and what you're doing. And
Is there anything else that you want to tell the public or any other people who are looking to lend or looking for lenders?
Yeah, if you're looking for a lender, you can shoot me an email. I can give them my contact information. You guys can reach out to me. I have a website for transactional lending. I have a website for financial education. So I do that as well on the side. Just
man,
using
see?
knowledge. Yeah, knowledge is power.
It is. Like even the transactional side, like, ooh, guys, that
Yeah,
info is gonna be in our description. It's there. I think it's there. With all the website info that you guys need. Y'all need a lot. A lot of persons need transactional lending.
yeah, I got you.
He got you guys. But no, thank you so much for being on our Kels and Betsy show, talking about raising capital and how you're investing with purpose.
Purpose.
Thank you everyone for listening. for watching as well. Let us know what you guys think about this episode. Like it. You can do a thumbs down too, but no, don't do a thumbs down. Do a thumbs up. If you guys haven't subscribed us yet, subscribe to our channel, and also wherever you're listening to your podcast, because we're available on all platforms that you listen to your podcast. Be sure to follow us, share it with a friend as well. Leave us a review and let us know what else you guys want us to talk about, what guests you guys want us to bring on. But until next time, thank you guys and see ya.